Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Week 7 of the Sunday Night Skippy Racing League's second season. We are coming to you live tonight from virtual Belgium, where the drivers are currently preparing for a 40-minute race around the Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps. That's the last time I'm going to try to say that tonight.
Thank you.
Tonight's action is brought to you exclusively by the CavOK Racing Network. We are currently streaming live to both YouTube and Twitch. So if you'd like to switch platforms, now is a great time to do that. And if you just search for that CavOK, that's C-A-V-O-K, we should pop up there for you pretty quick. I'd also like to mention we're going to be monitoring the comments section in both streams, or we'll try to, so shoot us your questions or comments real time. And I see MacRacer49, appreciate it, man. We are pumped for Sunday Night Skippy ourselves. And I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy out there. Tonight's broadcast, we decided to switch it up a little bit. We're going to start out with a little Q&A time. We got some feedback that friends and family were watching, and we just thought, well, maybe people are tuning in and wanting to watch their loved one do something that they enjoy, but maybe they really aren't up to speed on iRacing or Skip Barber cars or just kind of racing in general. So with that, I'll introduce our one of our other three broadcasters, my partner in crime, my better half, Megan.
Good evening, racing fans. A special welcome to any new and returning family members who are watching tonight. I think we've got a really fun night planned for everyone, and hopefully the guys will give us a great race as usual. Like Chris mentioned, we wanted to start things off a little early tonight to get some racing and Racing 101 for iRacing as well. And for those of you who might be new to iRacing or racing in general, we know a lot of family and friends are starting to come and watch these, and I suspect that means there's a range of educational levels that comes with iRacing and racing. For me, I grew up around NASCAR, and since marrying Chris, racing has really become a large part of our lives and our family. But when it comes to road courses and open wheel racing, I'm really a novice and have no idea what I'm talking about. So I thought we could start off tonight's race talking through some of those basics about open wheel race cars. And as someone who loves history, I did a little research before tonight's broadcast. And from what I can gather, open wheel racing, and I'm sure many people may disagree with this, open wheel racing isn't really all that much about performance. A lot of people believe it's a lot more to do with tradition. It seems that many agree that the aerodynamics and driver safety of a closed cab, so think a closed cockpit and closed wheel design, something like NASCAR, sprint cars, stock cars, those kinds of race cars. Here we're talking about open wheel racing, so Formula One, Indy cars, they stick with open wheel because of the tradition behind it, dating as far back as some trace carriage racing itself. So if you think about what a carriage looked like back in the day, basically that's kind of your first open wheel race car. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So Chris, really, what's special that you think about open wheel race cars, and answer the burning question I'm sure a lot of people have, including myself. Are they faster?
That's a open wheel racing, and racing anything I think is just fantastic. So there's each discipline has its own thing that makes it special and unique. Of course, open wheel racing has a rich history that people do cling to. Um, Faster they can be, but not necessarily. The Skip Barber car isn't. I wouldn't call it on the fast side. This is, and we may get into this later when we talk specifically about the Skip Barber Formula 2000 cars that we'll see race tonight. But yeah, there are certainly fast cars that are open and closed wheeled, the tin tops, whatever nickname that you have for them. But I think there's just that appeal to the a lot of the open wheel cars are very high downforce. They can corner very fast for the most part, at least relative to like lugging when you do a road course. It's a very different experience watching a NASCAR stock car go around it and lugging that thing around. It's not really meant for that, but as opposed to these high downforce wheel cars that make it look real slick and fast. And so fast is all relative to, you can talk on an open straightaway versus cornering speed. So depending on the circuit, may not be have the upper end speed of other cars, but if you can go around the corners faster, and it's not one of those courses that has a lot of straightaways, you may end up actually being able to go around faster anyways.
Great. So you mentioned Skip Barber cars specifically, and so what's special about these cars that the Sunday Night Skippy League races?
Well, these, the Skip Barber School is just world-renowned driving school, and this specific to iRacing as well. The Skip Barber car is kind of used. You get into iRacing at first, and you're in what's called the rookie class, and just basically learning the ins and outs of how to use the iRacing simulator itself. And there's some people who still go back and race, rookies quite a while, even after they've quote unquote graduated or passed their rookie license. But Skip Barber is kind of seen as that stepping stone to the faster cars that you see on the circuit. And it's where a lot of people really cut their teeth. Rookie almost you kind of survive through it, and then Skip Barber's where you really hone those racecraft skills, working through traffic, learning how to maneuver a car through that sort of stuff. And that's what the Skip Barber Racing School. These are an old version of that, but theory that's the point of these types of cars. Now that being said, we do have some people that race with us in this league, but certainly in the public races as well outside of this league, that this is their main car. Like they are well known for racing that Skip Barber car. So it's a great car to drive in its own right. It's not just an educational platform. It's a fun car to drive. It's fun to kind of it's a little bit different. It's not as low or not as high downforce as like the Indy cars and Formula One and all that. So there's a little more maneuvering to it. So that's I think why it's a very popular car and why Sunday Night Skippy Racing League exists. Very very specific to this vehicle.
Great. So you mentioned a couple of things. I have a couple of follow-up questions for you. The first one being you mentioned about um, in relation to rookie class and then moving on to the Skip Barbers. Are those just for open wheel racers, or is that a process that you go through regardless of what you want to race in the iRacing world?
Yeah, I mean, you'll in the iRacing world, there's a couple different ways to do it, but some cars you only get to race if you are at a certain class license level. You got to do that by racing clean laps. there's two different scores. There's the I rating and then your safety rating. Safety rating is what gives you your licenses. So can you complete laps cleanly, safely, and earn that higher license to drive those fast, in theory, faster cars. And then your I rating is kind of your closest thing to a skill level, and that's going to determine who you're racing against. So, one of the good things about the Skip Barber car is that, yes, it's used to teach people, but you can also race it as your quote unquote main car. And so it allows for a wide variety of racing levels, which is I think Sunday Night Skippy is all about, is having that wider range of skill levels, all being able to race the same car at the same time. And then the I rating, though, in public races is what's going to determine. So, the faster guys here with the higher I ratings are going to be racing against the same, roughly, I rating ranks. So you get the higher I ratings racing against a higher I rating. So you're not having somebody who's doing their very first Skip Barber race racing against somebody who's doing it in half the time. That makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but really, we kind of hear oftentimes watching these broadcasts the difference between iRacing in a league versus racing in what we call a public race. Can you just explain for our viewers and listeners kind of what those differences are?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I kind of lost the thread there a little bit. So the public races are just the standard. That is what iRacing offers up. That's the normal user experience. They also give you this opportunity to create leagues, and you can control who's in it, who's not. You can set up your own races to whatever parameters that you would like. And so it doesn't count for anything. So those I ratings and safety ratings we were talking about, this race doesn't count for any of that tonight. So in theory, if you are in a league, you find a good league that you like, you just race that. Your I rating and safety rating may never ever go anywhere. But if that's what you enjoy, if you find a car in a league and all that you like, then they allow you to have that experience with the software as well, with the platform.
We're waiting on a good time to kind of get Ian into as our cockpit broadcaster for this evening, tonight, and every Sunday. Ian's going to actually take us around the track and give us a chance to just learn the course on deck with him, and a trip all the way around Spa. We thought that would be a nice way of adding to tonight's broadcast. So in addition to kind of our open sessions where Chris and I kind of talk through iRacing and racing kind of 101, we're also going to try as well kind of talking through actually witnessing on deck with one of our racers through the entire course before we get started, before we get into qualifying and before we get into the race itself. I think that'll help people just get a sense of kind of the technicality behind the courses, actually understand when the guys are talking through kind of some of the straights or different the different turns. They'll actually refer to the numbers and those kinds of things. And sometimes I think, especially those of us that are new to iRacing and definitely new to kind of road racing in general, we may get a little bit lost with all that. So I thought that this might be a good way of kind of getting us started in kind of understanding how road courses work.
And actually, we'll also introduce here. We had our other broadcaster, Riley, slip in. You got a good copy on us now, bud? I may have jumped or threw him a little curveball there. All right. Well, we'll get back to Riley. Riley is joining us. He's one of our regular commentators as well. We're looking forward to hearing from him. And how about Ian? You got a good copy on us?
I do. Good evening, everybody.
Well, man, we are looking forward. We see you kind of approaching the start-finish line here, and we would love to get acquainted with the race track if you would be so kind to indulge us on that.
Absolutely. I won't be able to talk all the time because sometimes I panic and have to do stuff, but hang on.
Looks like he's coming up here, the last little chicane.
Okay, we're now on the start straight. and we're heading up to a corner called La Source. And it is a very, very sharp right-hander. Which then leads us on to another straight, which drops us down to a turn to the left called Eau Rouge. And it's called Eau Rouge because a stream used to run through there that had red water in it. We go through here flat out at about 115, 116 miles an hour over a blind crest to another left. That's up a little run called Radion onto the back straight called the Camel Straight. And this didn't used to be straight. This used to have curves in it. And this entire course was actually built in 1920s and has been raced ever since and gone through many, breaking down from 115 miles an hour to about 80. And as you can see, I've got somebody in the way, but going through here about 70, 80 miles an hour. And before we come and break again for Bruxelles. Sorry about that, guys. There's a bit of running off the road. And now I'm coming down to Pouchon, corner called Pouchon. This is a difficult corner because it's down and off camber, and all that runoff you can see over there to the right is there because people need it. But we go around here and we get up to about 107 miles an hour before we get to the next corner. And we're running into here at about 80. This is a left-right complex. And then coming up to another right-hander. And then from here to the bus stop chicane is pretty much flat out. So you're just on the throttle the entire way through. This corner coming up the left is a corner called Blanchemont. You can see there's a crashed car over there on the left-hand side. I'm now up to about 109 miles an hour. This is Blanchemont here. And then I take this corner, this next corner, flat out, 114 miles an hour, which in these Skippies is pretty swift, before I come up to the corner bus stop where I slam it all the way down and get into first gear to get a chicane in place. And then, whoa!
Oh, no!
Oh, I lost it on the bus stop. But that was the last corner of the lap before you go back over the start-finish line.
That's where we picked you up. I get that wheel checked out, brother.
Yeah, it looks a little dented there on the left. Luckily for us, it'll buff out. But I mean, luckily for us, I mean, running these cars, it really is, press escape and go again kind of deal. During the race, if you do crash, you come back to the pits and they actually add a penalty to get you back to the pits, which is towing time. So pretty much the amount of time it would take you if you had actually crashed your car on the track to be picked up on the back of a truck and towed back to the pits. You get one fast repair where you can see now my completely repaired. But you only get one of those. So any damage that you do to yourself or anybody else, they get one chance at getting it fixed back to new. And after that, you just deal with what you've got, or you come back to the pits to get fixed. And it can take quite a bit of.
And you mentioned the fast repairs. There is going to be a mandatory pit stop anyway, right? So there's almost a strategy of, hey, how long can I hang on if I do have damage? Because I know I'm going to have to pit regardless. So
yeah, so the faster racers, what they'll do is if they do damage themselves, they'll just keep running until their pit stop, refuel, and then fix the car and keep going. Now those race speeds that I was giving you, I'm not one of the faster guys, so they will be going through some of those corners quite a bit swifter than I was. But you can expect top speeds of somewhere around 120 miles an hour when they get up behind each other and are drafting. And then that bus stop, you're coming into that at about 113, 114 miles an hour, and then going around it at about 30. So you're slamming on the brakes to get that left-right complex in there. Very easy to do what I just did.
we about hit the net. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was
was
just
gonna
going to say a couple of neat things. This track that we're running is the shortened version of what it was originally. Originally, it was about a 14 to 19 kilometer track, and the drivers hated racing here. They were all terrified of it because it was known as one of the fastest racetracks in the world. It's still a very fast track. Most of those corners we're taking almost flat out or pushing hard to get up to the highest speed we can in the gear we're going around. And unfortunately, a lot of very good drivers have lost their lives here. In fact, in the last year, in the race for at the Formula One weekend, it was a previous race to the Formula One cars of Formula Two, and one of the drivers lost his life just at the top of Radion, because you come up Radion flat out as fast as you can, and then when you go over that crest, the car becomes very, very light, and you've got to turn left at the same time. So you've got no grip. You're as fast as you can go. You can't see the corner, and unfortunately, he just lost it on that corner and hit the barrier. And then another car ran into him and T-boned him right where the driver was, and that's what killed him.
Well, we'll rest a little easier knowing that you are in no actual danger that we're aware of today. But thank you very much, Ian. It looks like qualifying is going to start, so we'll let you get to it. Drive fast, take chances, and we'll check back in with you in a little bit.
Fantastic. By the way, before you disappear, Megan, what color car am I driving today?
Oh, Chris, get him back up
Okay,
there
all right.
so I can see it.
There we go.
Look at that hot rod.
Yes, it's
That's
post-it
just
note
for
time. Just for you, Megan. Just for you. Do you like the pink wheels?
I love it. No, flip it around.
No. All right. Well, I can't do that right here. But we'll get a better look after the race. But well done, man. All right. Well, thank you very much, man. Good luck. And let's see, is Riley? Are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we kind of sprung that on you there. But welcome to the broadcast, everybody. Riley's here in the house. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing really well. I'm very excited. This is actually my favorite track on the planet. I love this track to death. Spa is everything that I love in a racetrack, so I'm very, very, very excited to call this race today.
Well, we are looking forward to it too. I know there's been a lot of talk about the draft and kind of the off-track intricacies, but I'll let you talk to that in a little bit. I got the information for the race up here. Nice mild day that they've set for these conditions. Ambient temperature just shy of 70 degrees Fahrenheit, which is my personal favorite temperature. And then it's getting nice cool track temps as well. So none of that should really be an issue for us today. And we're gonna we've now officially gotten into the open qualifying session. So I imagine you were listening in there for a little bit, but we're kind of taking an approach where we got this feedback that families, friends were watching. Maybe they're not all up on that. So I'll try to talk everybody through the what to look for on the overlay, the information that they're seeing. We're not trying to overwhelm anybody. So on the right side, you'll have a track map. The green is who I have selected currently that that we'll be focused on, so you can kind of get a sense of where they are in the big picture, and as we look at Ian here. And then on the left side, once things they start laying down times, we'll have everybody's best time, so you can see what the current status of the grid is. Now, on the Skip Barber car, the tires, when they're cold, when they're just getting out of the pits for the first time, they're a little slick. So we have what we call an outlap, where you're just kind of, okay, we're going to go out, we're going to take it a little easy, we're going to warm up the tires, and once those tires get warm, then you start to kind of push it for your hot lap.
Absolutely, and I think that it's really important to note that it does take a few laps. So you might see guys run, 1 to 2 seconds quicker at the end of qualifying than you do at the beginning, and that is because once those tires do need time to come up to temperature. You could kind of equate it to almost driving in the rain or walking on a wet surface. It kind of, you can handle it, but you got to be careful. And that's kind of the way that driving these cars on those cold tires are. But as soon as those tires come up to temp, you can really trust the car and push it through a lot of these corners.
I apologize to the viewers. I have not been streaming the iRacing audio, so that's why it was a little hard. I was like, man, it is really quiet in this broadcast. I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, so as we see Ian go around, we'll try to jump around here a little bit, but I wanted to make sure we had time to, as we look at everybody doing their laps here, we went through and did some picks, and 3 picks apiece from all the broadcasters. We have who we think might win it, a dark horse, which, maybe somebody mid or ish pack who we anticipate will be a threat to take a podium or a win, and then a lottery ticket, which is maybe somebody new to the league or somebody who just hasn't been getting the results, who we expect to really outperform their season performance so far going forward. So I'd like to start out with Megan on that one. What do you have?
All right, so for my winner tonight, I didn't change it from last week, actually, so I'm going to stick with him one more time. James Hauser, he's just too consistent, really not to pick here. His average start is 3rd and average finish is 2nd. He's already won once this season, so I feel like on a course with some great breakaways and straights, he could really run away with this thing if he keeps his head down and is as consistent as he always is. And hopefully he can bring home the race for me tonight. For my dark horse, I picked Jason Weiss this week. We talk about Jason pretty regularly on our broadcast for his consistent bad luck, unfortunately. But I saw him in practice this afternoon, and he was running the tables on everyone. So as long as he can stay away from the bad luck machine, he could have a chance this week. And finally, my lottery ticket is Jonathan Dockery. We also got a chance to watch him in practice today, and he's sounding really confident. He was giving tons of tips and tricks to everybody else around the track, and so I'm not only impressed with the amount of dedication he has for the league and the league members, but also think that's a great mindset to bring into a race. Jonathan's also a former trucker who's recently had a back injury and 2 spinal surgeries in the past 14 months. So I'm assuming that's made some time for some downtime to practice some iRacing. I hope you're doing well, Jonathan, and on a good road to recovery. He's also a member of the Honey Badger Racing with Bill Groombridge and Steve Dewar. I hope they're also racing here tonight. Maybe we'll see some good drafting from the team. Hopefully they'll be able to show that off. And then his hobbies include the most important 3 F's. Wait for it. Family time, fishing, and fast cars. Come on, guys. It's a family show. Get your minds out of the gutter.
I was going to say, I did not tag this TVMA, so that's... All right, I think those are pretty solid. Riley, who do you got today?
All right, so for my winner, I actually took a page out of your book, Chris, and I picked Chris Herrera to win. I picked the winner last week, and I was right on that one. So I thought maybe if I pick Chris, he'll get out of that slew of bad luck he's had and put one on the top step of the podium. So that's what I'm looking for tonight. I think Chris Herrera's got a really good shot at it. So we'll see how that plays out for him. And then for my,
Dark horse?
For my dark horse, I picked Don Parks. He's a guy who's consistently out there, consistently in the top 10. And I think that we could see him on the podium very easily tonight. He can really make some moves happen. He's a fantastic driver. He's not afraid to take a risk. And I am excited to see him out there today. And then for my dark horse, for my lottery ticket, I went with Nikolai Wood, newcomer to the league. Decided that his first race with us was going to be the Nordschleife. Very, very brave soul. And he came in and he had a 3-lap long battle with Jason Weiss all the way around that track. and that's a solid 24 minutes of just going back and forth with somebody. And him and Jason were putting in consistent, really good lap times. I think Nikolai Wood is going to come in here and shock a lot of people tonight, and take a really good finish home with him.
Yeah, I can't argue with any of what you said there. I think that Bice Wood battle there was some of the most fun we saw at the Green Hill last week for sure. So excited to see what he can do this week. For myself, you know what? I'm just going for it. Bice for the win. I'm calling it right now. Now, I don't have quite the same luck, almost an opposite effect, seems like, on people, so if I've jinxed him, I apologize, but he's just, he's a threat to win any week, just a couple breaks his way, and I think he can get it, and I think what we saw, this is a very draft-heavy track, and I think we saw his ability to navigate the draft last week indicates to me that if he's in the right spot, you can't sleep on him. For my dark horse, I had Jack Moffitt, who I can't find. Oh, there he is. Now, Jack's been talking in the Discord all week. His results haven't been great. I want to say his average finish is like 18th or something like that, if I was looking at it right. But the times he was putting down were fantastic so far, and he's been getting after it in the public races. So I think that was kind of an easy pick for me, plus a fantastic paint scheme as always. And then for my lottery ticket, I've got Rich Butler, and what I was trying to do here, you had Riley, you had Sean Trediak as your lottery ticket last week, and I think that worked out pretty well. Come to find out, these guys are married to sisters, so they're brothers-in-law, and spent a lot of time, and Sean actually got him into iRacing as a Christmas present for this last Christmas, which I thought was fantastic timing. So it's good to see Rich out here, and if he's only been running it since January-ish, I'd say his learning curve is pretty steep, and he's doing pretty well. So I'll throw out my lottery ticket there for Rich Butler. All right, we've got 4 minutes remaining in the open qualifying session. Just as a reminder here, the open qualifying is important, different in a couple ways. I wouldn't say it's unique, but certainly compared to the public races, you can actually work together with folks in that draft, be able to put down faster laps once the tires warm up. So those people with teams, like look up here at Christian Perez and Edwin Villarino, sorry. If you got a couple people who can work together, it'll improve your grid chances dramatically, I think. And the other thing that I'll point out, just overlay-wise, if anybody's new to watching the racing here, you'll notice that people's names are turning red or green. If you haven't figured that out, you gain a position, their name will turn green momentarily, and if they've lost a position, their name will turn red. And then you may also see little red stripes between the number and their name on the timing tower there. That's if they get an off track. So that's just to give you a little quick visualization of maybe who departed the surface, as they say. So Riley, you said this is your favorite track of all time, man. Tell me about it. What about Spa just speaks to you?
So, I mean, it's just so many things. I think it's the history. As Ian had mentioned, this track has been raced since the early 1900s. Granted, at that time it was a much different circuit. It was actually a street circuit at that time, so the whole racetrack was on public roads. But nowadays, obviously, it's a closed circuit. It's a lot more safe than it used to be. And I think that there's just so many things about this track. Radion and Eau Rouge, probably the two most famous corners in the world on any racetrack. Those two corners they strike fear into the heart of almost every person who's ever driven a race car. It's one of those things where you're gripping the wheel as tight as you can when you're going up through Radion or going up through Eau Rouge after you've gone through Radion. Kind of got that feeling in the pit of your stomach. it's one of those things that just requires full concentration. There's such a good mix of fast-paced corners, off-camber corners, really tight corners, and then I think just there's something about this track that has an allure of it just always produces entertaining racing, and nothing about this track screams anything other than just historic and legendary. Be it through, like I spoke about, Eau Rouge and Radion, or Le Source, the tight hairpin there, that's turn one, Blanchimont, where we've seen that backstretch where we've seen so many good races be decided. This track is just incredible, and it demands your full respect at all times. And I think that's probably what speaks to me the most about it.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to some good, tight racing here. Moving forward, we're coming up on the end of the open qualifying session. Now, with this, it's not like the clock hits 15 minutes and then you're done. If you're out on a lap, you do get to finish that lap. Right now, we've got Perez leading the way. He sits on the pole with a 2:46.288, which is a very fantastic time, as you would imagine. But it looks like most of the pack is going to get at least one more down. It looks like Tyler Kirchman may be the first of the group.
You know, I'm getting a little nervous over here. My pick for the winner has not set a time yet.
Is that right? That is, wow, yeah.
Chris Herrera and James Hauser are going through No Name right now, which is it's affectionately known as, it's turn 13, but in the race community, it is adopted the name of No Name, and that's just another little thing about the track that just kind of makes it fun. It gives it some character.
And to be clear, in order to set a time, you must not have gone off the track. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Got off tracks, contact with the wall or another car, slowdowns, things like that. You've got to you have to have no incident points, which I don't know if you guys spoke on, which is contact with the wall, losing control of the car, contact with another car going off track.
No, actually, yeah, that was one thing we did not cover, but the software itself tracks that for you. Obviously, it's fairly accurate depending on where they set the limits and what have you. But
I think there's some iRacers out there who have something to say about the track limits. At,
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, the for those at home there's some discrepancies with the drivers about where and what counts as an off track here and what doesn't. So there may be some frustrations with where the software has set those limits. But that being said, we did get some folks putting down some good times here, and looks like Herrera was able to put down a 7th place qualifying lap when all was said and done, so that's not too bad.
Listen, I don't mean to brag, but
you will.
Out of 30 cars, my 3 picks are starting in the top 15.
It's a good place to be.
That's not bad. That's not bad. And that top time, 2:46.288, that is very cool.
That is easily the fastest that I've seen.
Yeah, that's alien speed. That really is. So and for those of you who don't know, when we say alien speed, it's like you're no longer human, right? You've come down from some planet, which is all they do is race cars, and that's the time. I mean, yeah, right. I mean, he's almost a second of fast.
Yeah, if there's any soccer fans out there, it's the way that a lot of people refer to Lionel Messi is an alien. He's not from our planet.
There's actually there's a award you can get, right, in iRacing, a title if you win I think it's if you win a race in each car. If I have
Yep.
that right.
I think it's if you win a race in every series.
In every
So
series, okay.
yes. It might be every car. I can check for us here.
There you go. All right, well, we'll clear the screen here and take some of the scenes in here as we get ready to grid. Drivers get 2 minutes, in which everything kind of resets. Your car, your tires, not so much the track condition, but we'll take a look here at our starting lineup. Perez, like we were just talking about, will take the pole. Congratulations to him. Virino in a close second there. Well, I mean that's pretty good amount of gap there, Christian. That's a little crazy, but Virino and gonna join him there on the front row with Parks and Dance, then Hauser and Mobran, Herrera and Torres, Weiss and McMurphy, Kirchman and Moffitt. I know how to use this. Nikolai Wood and Kay, Korbeck and Bowers, Dewar and Wright, Trediak and Hartley, Zimmerman and Ashe, Longatano and Butler.
So Chris, you actually were right. You have to win a race in all 69 cars on the iRacing service.
There you
to
go.
win that Alien award.
And rounding out the field, we got Wilmer Dockery, and then our own Ian Worrell, Bill Groombridge, and Robert Valentine. And
I'll be carrying the flag around for us.
And Christian Perez just wished us a good night, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, maybe that was a hello. That's my
I think
mistake.
he said hello to the broadcast team.
Okay, all right. Thought maybe he was just like, you know what? I've done it. I've set the time. All right, we're going green, boys. Here we go. And they're off. Let's see how clean they can keep it down in turn one.
And La Source is a very treacherous corner because it is a downhill hairpin to the right. So if you get on the power too early, you're going to send that car right around.
Well, it's a very loaded field at 28. I'm sorry, 26. Oh, and somebody's off the track already.
That's
Is
Don,
that Don
Parks. Yep. And Rouge claims another car as he goes off into the wall. Or, excuse me, that was Radion that claimed him. But he is now dropped to the back.
All right, well, let's go. And we got some more cars around. It's Tyler Kirchman.
Oh, multiple cars involved in this one.
Oh, they're going
Jason
back.
Bice is in there.
Of course. Well, let's things kind of sorted out in the front here. So, not exactly sure there what happened with Don. He may have gotten touched from behind there, sent him around. Let's look real quickly here at the other accident.
So it looks like Kirchman and Bice just kind of went in a little too hard there.
Yeah,
there was no contact. They just kind of made the same mistake.
And then who?
It was Trediak also, same thing, just sent the car a little too hard in, but he actually ended up in the wall.
Looks like Kirchman would be around again. We're here live. So as they get themselves sorted out, we'll come back up here to some racing. Chris Herrera holding down that 6th position. And it looks like the top 7 or so have really kind of broken away from the rest of the pack. You got to go back about 5 seconds to get to Lyndall McMurphy and Mike Bowers.
So
We'll look
where's
back
the
here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would say whereas the past few weeks where we've seen, the top 10 really stay bunched up for the most part for the first at least 4 or 5 laps, it kind of looks like this week that Spa might be the great equalizer of the top of the field, and they're kind of pulling away.
So we just saw Jack Moffitt there, and Bice and Butler touch wheels as Bice gets sent around. Looks like he might have to tow back. His car's not moving. We saw Jack Moffitt go into the pit. He was caught up in that first accident.
Your picks, you are really the kiss of death. You
we should
really
just
are.
ban me from making picks from now on. We're back up here at the front of the field where Jonathan Dance has worked his way up to the second spot, and Hauser goes around. Dance gets into him, collects another car. Who is that? That was the 58 of Christian Perez.
Oh, there's 3 cars in that one. That was Perez, Hauser, and Dance, all with major damage there to their cars. So, Megan, what were you saying about the kiss of death?
Oh, I was saying all of Chris's picks are either in the pit or well, yeah. So you had Bice, you had Moffitt. Moffitt just came out of the pit. Both of them had serious damage. So yeah, you do have, he is the kiss of death and should no longer be allowed to pick anybody.
Nobody wants to be picked by me.
Well, I was thinking it might run in the family because I do think that you picked James to win the race.
I sure did.
So we've got back here, Ian makes a nice move. Although I am getting word here, Robert Longatano has crashed. We'll see. Can't see what happened there. Oh, yep. Well, he's able to stay off the wall, so that won't be an issue. He's back on the track and rolling. Don Parks is out of the pits. Back up here to the front. Heat's closing that gap on Edwin a little bit here. Then there's about another second or so back to the 687 car of Chris Herrera. See if they can get organized and catch that front group again after that the Hauser spin.
There's a lot of action going on out here as looks like Carrington's made his way all the way up to P9 after, I think he started in somewhere in the 20s, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know if he put a hot lap down or not, but he was definitely in the back of the field, so he's worked his way up 16 positions. Ian also has worked up 14 positions. Harrington's got some good competition there from Torbeck. As Kay makes the move. Nikolai's back there. They're going to back off, though. Thought better of it.
Looks like Bice is out.
Back out.
He's
No,
out of the race.
Yeah, it looks like he has disconnected from the race.
Out.
So, surprisingly, it kind of looks like Spa might be claiming a few more cars than the Nordschleife did, at least initially.
Yeah, this is first couple laps here have been a war of attrition for sure. We've got a great battle. It looks like Pete has passed Edwin. For the lead. Take a look at how he did that here real quick. We'll shake and bake.
And it looks like Rich Butler had a spin just after No Name, but it looks like he was able to keep it off the wall. He was using that runoff area that Ian referred to, and he was able to just go ahead and get that car back on track.
Save. Oh, we got a couple. Steve Ewer. Looks like he's been in a wreck. Is that with Torbeck? See what happened there. Looks like Jeff was able to miss him, but Steve gets going. Again, no real contact there.
Had it
That's
coming
all good.
together in Blanchemont, and I'm in the pits.
Oh, you got, wow. All we see is your car smoking.
It'll buff out.
Yeah, Oliver Hartley also. Oh my, we missed something fantastic. Sorry
I'd like
everybody.
to imagine that might not be happening on his screen.
Let's try to see what happened there. That looked like a fun ride, Ian.
It was trippy, and I'm behind Oliver. The two of us just came together. We've been battling a good bit for this race.
Well, you use that fast repair?
I did, yeah. My one fast repair.
It's over now.
We actually have a really good battle here on track between Lyndall McMurphy and Carrington Wilmer. It looks like Carrington's kind of trying to pick his place to get by here because he keeps getting right up on the gearbox and then backing off just a little bit.
Okay. I believe that's Justin K in front of him, if I'm not mistaken.
And then behind them you can see Nikolai Wood just staying in the draft, kind of just letting these two ahead battle it out.
So we started with technically 28, I believe. Carrington makes the move past. We currently have 4 out. As Edwin Viorino sets the hot lap for the race so far, the 2:47.66.
And like usual, Edwin has been putting in a lot of practice this week, racing. What feels like almost every public race that goes live. He is tried and true a Skippy driver, and he is one of the most consistent guys on the whole service, not just our league, in the Skip Barber car.
And I'm trying to see what happened. It looks like, oh no, Pete passed him back again. And then we've got about 6.5 seconds back to the next group of Torres, Herrera, Perez, and Bowers. And who we're focused on right here, this group, as they see if they can't catch back up to those top two.
I'm not sure what happened to Oliver, but he's
Oliver, if we can't see
in Blanchemont. Sorry.
Yeah, I think because he had been caught up before, he went in, must have gotten fast repair / new tires, and looks like he just may have cooked it around that turn there. But no contact, looks safe. Folks back up here on the leaders. Looks like Pete and Edwin just kind of trading barbs for the time being. and maintaining about that 6.5 second lead over that second group.
And I'm running all by myself.
Just a nice Sunday night drive.
With moments of sheer terror.
There's a view from Mike Bauer's front wing as he looks to pass Christian Perez.
I'll tell you what would be an interesting view. Give me a second. That would be looking at the suspension going through Eau Rouge.
I think we can do that for you. Oh, and they touch.
It actually looks like we might have Jason Bice standing by for an interview.
Outstanding. That's a good catch there. Let's see if we can't bring him in. Hey Jason, it's Chris in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
There we go. Looks like I was muted.
Oh, sorry about that if that was me. Hey, so I think we may have cursed you one last time, man. Tell us about the race. What happened?
Well, I probably shouldn't comment on it at this point. I need, we need 2 officials who are not involved to take a look at it, but that looked like somebody not using the spotter to me, that's an issue. That's the second time that's happened, so we'll be taking a look, or more specifically, Ian and James will be taking a look.
That's good. It's good.
Just to let you know, I'm actually listening to you, okay?
It's a good hallmark of the league, trying to keep it fair and impartial as possible. But yeah, man, I was sorry to see that happen, go down that way. Yeah, how was? I mean, outside of that though, we were looking forward to Spa. Looks like we got a couple great battles throughout the field brewing. You know, who are you thinking's got the best chance tonight?
That's so tough to say. I mean, we had what, a 46 something as a qualifying time. I think that was Perez, and he's now in 6th. So who knows? What's really cool to see is we've got some really, really tight packs out there. So it should be a really good race. And I couldn't hazard a guess at this point.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And you know, now the tires warmed up a little bit, everybody's kind of settled in. I'm looking forward to seeing how these just individual packs kind of, you know, get it sorted to see who's gonna kind of beat that. I like the fact that throughout the entire course, now it's going to make it difficult on us, of course, trying to cover down and everything, but that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. Well, you guys are doing a bang-up job, so thanks again.
Well, appreciate it, man. Any final parting thoughts or shout-outs?
I don't think so. I'm really looking forward to see how it pans out. I'm actually just sitting here watching the stream on Twitter, or not
Awesome.
Twitter, on Twitch, so we'll see what happens.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. Stay safe out there. Thanks for joining us.
You bet. Take it easy.
Yep.
Bye.
And I'll have to see what happened with Ian here.
It looks like he may have just had a small problem there going through the bus stop chicane, but I think he could probably tell us better than we could talk about it.
Yeah, I entered, my entry speed was too high, and so when I put the gas down, I just spun.
Gotcha. Yep. That's a hell of a recovery there, though. Just flip that around.
Well,
like,
you know,
exactly
Oliver
what
was
you were
coming
doing.
up behind me again, so I didn't want to catch up. I want to keep clear of him.
See what happened here with Sean Trediak as well. Got an indication he may have. Oh no, he just to the pits. I don't know why it said he crashed. That's not accurate. As K is in the pits as well. Look back here at the leaders. Broughton, Edwin. Christian Perez back and forth.
And Hauser's made his way back up to P16 after that incident. I believe he was around 23rd, 24th after that accident, so a great recovery by him so far.
He sits about 40, 50 seconds back from the leaders, but he is starting to pick off positions left and right. It's good to see.
And it looks like Nikolai Wood has kind of started to maybe clear that pack there racing a little bit. He's got about a second gap on Wilmer. And if you remember just a few laps ago, Wood was just sitting a couple seconds behind Wilmer and Kay as they battled.
See him having some good luck. Let's see if we can't check out the pass that made it happen. Some good drafting. They just pulled away after that.
Yep, absolutely.
I think he learned some lessons from Nords last week with that battle with Jason.
Yeah, just drafting by just a smidge too early on that back straight. But there is no, ridiculously long straight like there is at the Nordschleife here at Spa. And it looks like our leader, Pete McBroughton, has gone into the pits. So it looks like he will be the first of the, he'll be the first into the pits, as far as fuel strategy goes. Also, I just got word that Carrington Wilmer may have had an issue, but it looks like it may have just been insignificant. Little slide through the bus stop.
He's in pit road as well, as is Perez. Perez has been in there. Okay, there you go. We'll pull up on the timing tower for everybody to see the pit lap. So that's what that number will be next to the gap. So you can see who pit and when. Now, we mentioned it earlier, but there is a mandatory pit stop that must be completed during the course of the race. And so this will give you an idea of what that strategy is for all the different drivers. We learned last week that there's an art and a science to the pit stops and how much fuel you really need. And that was kind of a make or break point for some of the drivers. Taking too much fuel, too much time on pit road, losing positions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or
go ahead,
who
Megan.
was it that actually failed to complete the race because they didn't take enough? Who was that didn't even finish?
Right, so that, yeah.
There is that issue also.
You can go the other way and not have enough fuel. That's right. You end up going backwards down the hill. Alright, let's go look back here. Jonathan Dance and Tyler Kirchman are in a pretty good battle there for the 13th, 12th position. Dance in an incident earlier has dropped 9 spots overall. Probably not the night that he was hoping for. As Tyler Kirchman, man, he is wheeling that thing right now. That was a heck of a turn. And it looks like Edwin and they touch wheels. Tyler and Jonathan's around again, but he saves it, but he's going to lose a lot of time there. That's going to allow Hauser to catch right up, get right on the tail end. There's, well, Tyler goes into the pits anyway, so there you go. And as you see, both Pete and Edwin are now back on the track.
I'd also like to note that James just clocked the hot lap on the most recent lap.
He did with a 2:47.23, so James not giving up, not backing down. Battle for the lead going side by side there for just a touch. And it looks like most everybody except for Rich Butler. I don't know why Ian isn't showing up as a having head pit. I believe you were in the pit. Jake Ashe, Don Parks. The only ones remaining. There you go. So that'll round out. So from here on out, this is how they will sit, and it looks like James Hauser just continuing to pick them off. Jonathan makes a pretty good recovery. Let's see if he can get back in that draft with James. Back up to the 7th position he is. Now that's 2 positions down from where he started, but still excellent recovery for the 75 car. Look back here too. Jack Moffitt, also involved in an earlier incident, was able to fix the front of his car. He has Tyler Kirchman now in his sights, battling for the 16th position.
And I don't think we've mentioned Adam Wright so far. Here in the blue digital camo Skip Barber car. Fun fact, not this Adam Wright, but Adam Wright was actually the name of my head coach for basketball in high school.
Well, you don't know that. Maybe he was your coach. Maybe that's the Adam
I
Wright.
actually checked his account when I saw him in Discord. Not my coach.
What would the odds have been? Yeah, no, he's having a pretty solid run. I think he's relatively new as well. 15th position for him.
Oh my God, you missed that pass!
Don't worry.
You've got to go look at that. You got to go look at that. That's awesome.
Let's check it out. From the chopper view, so we don't miss anything. There's Ian on the right. Sent it. Full send like a boss. Nice job, Ian. We'll back up here a little bit to Tyler Kirchman.
I believe Carlos Sainz would say smooth operator.
Not sure why I was saying he. Oh. Hold on. That was my mistake. I don't know why it doesn't look like that loaded. Tyler, yep, just what happened there. We'll check back in with the leaders, who look like they just continue to good barbs. They are down to a little over 5 seconds after those pit stops lead, so a little bit of that was kind of cut out, but still got another 5 seconds back to the group with Edward Torres, Chris Herrera, Christian Perez. A little further down, let's roll through the field here actually now with a 28 minutes rather into the 40-minute race. Mike Bowers up 10 spots into the 6th position, followed closely by Jonathan Dance, James Hauser, Houghton Trail, Wendell McMurphy having a good run, up 1 spot. Then there's Justin K rounding out your top 10. He's up 4 positions. Then there's Carrington Wilmer in the 24 car. He's up 14 positions still. Searching for that top 10 with Nikolai Wood in tow, in addition to Jeff Torbeck in the 13th spot right now. Steve Dewar just a little further back, the 14th position. Then you got to go 16 seconds back to 87 car of Adam Wright. It's like Jack Moffitt's just behind him trying to catch up. Some solid laps. We got Jeff Zimmerman, also in the famous Rust Bucket schema, looks like. My personal favorites. John Trediak. That 18th position. Robert Longatano. Rich Butler. And we've got Oliver Hartley, who Ian trying to get past. I thought you already passed him.
Yeah, he just passed me again.
Then there's Ian in the 22nd spot. Still up 5 spots, though. Take that. Oh, and they touch. Oh, and Ian goes for a ride.
Quite literally a ride.
Yep. A little bit airborne.
They need to stay away from each other.
I know. Kind of missing a nose there. Jay Gaucher.
He's had a couple incidents this race, but overall a pretty good run from him. Nice, smooth, and consistent. I've been kind of watching him on board a little bit, and it looks like he is having himself a pretty decent race.
Take that result any day. Looking at...
Not to mention the paint scheme on that is pretty sweet.
Well, I think both
Look at that
Oliver and I are
ombre.
heading for the pit.
Oh, I must have cut to the pits too. Where are you?
Just came around Blanchimont coming up a bus stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say your car looks like you got some good ventilation. We'll put it that way. All right. Well, as Ian and Oliver get into the pits there, let's check back up with the leaders, see what they're up to. Edwin swinging it wide, trying to find that speed. Got just over 8 minutes remaining here in this race.
And there
I've
actually
got
was
4 minutes of repairs.
Well,
So there actually was a warning sent out to the drivers this week about doing what we just saw Edwin do at Blanchimont, because it allows you to carry more speed through the corner. It didn't look like he gained any position or anything from it like that, but that isn't actually something we want to see the drivers doing out on track, swinging it that wide there at Blanchimont.
right on here with Jeff Torbeck. Looking forward at the battle between himself, Wilmer, and Wood. This is a battle for a top 10 position, which is always something good to hang your head on. A very good stat to have.
Absolutely finished well within the points here for our league. And it looks like that, those 3 top 10 of the final of the top 10 positions, we're going to see a really good battle here for the next 8 minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking up here now. Another good grouping of Torres, Herrera, and Perez. This is for a podium spot at the end of the day, and it doesn't look like they're making any sort of ground on the top 2, so maybe what they have.
Absolutely. I think it's going to come down to the draft between Pete and Edwin for the win here at the end of the race. those two guys kind of pulled away from the field. So we'll just have to see what happens there. I think the bus stop chicane on the final lap is going to be the most important part of the race for those two.
Oh, and Perez gets into Herrera, sends him around. So that's going to be the end of Herrera's hopes, I think, as car parts go flying. Perez is able to get up there, but now he's got a almost 4-second gap toward the third place of Edward Torres, who's now kind of out there on his own little island.
So I think all three of our winners have had a major incident out on track now.
Oh, geez, you know?
And now no one will want us to do that segment ever again.
No, I think we might be perma-banned from that. Let's check in. We haven't seen Steve in a while. There's some pretty good racing happening, but he's been running consistent race. He's up 5 positions total, so I'm sure he's happy with that result so far. But James is right on his tail, so we'll see how that goes. And what happened to James? I thought he was up in like the 7th position. Did I miss something?
I don't think so, though. This is the highest we've seen him so far. I believe was 13th. He might have been in 7th if he pitted later than everybody else.
Yeah, might have been a pit thing.
But as far as, track position goes, since the incident, this is the highest we have seen him so far.
Well, it looks like the race for the 8th position is heating up here. Got a 4-way battle. Oh, hang on to it, buddy. That's Torbeck getting a little squirrely. That's going to allow Nikolai Wood to pull away for the moment.
But the draft is so strong here around this track that that's probably only going to last here for, the next half lap before those guys are back on his gearbox again.
Check back in a little further up the field with Mike Bowers and Chris Herrera. As Herrera's trying to take that podium spot away.
Well, I thought they'd fix my car, but apparently they hadn't. So I am actually out of the race.
What happened to... I think something may have happened to Torres here. Let's go check in on that as Herrera makes the pass. Unclear. Just rolled to a stop.
Did he run out of gas?
May have. Well, that's going to put Chris Herrera back on the podium for the moment. Unless Bowers has something for him.
And Pete gets back by Edwin for position number 1. And it looks like, not this lap, but they will be coming to the white flag this time around.
Looks like Hauser is able to make it past Dewar.
And we're going to see a big drafting train here as that train we saw around behind Nikolai Wood is going to make it past. And I think all three of them just might get by.
There you go.
It does look like Carrington just ran out of real estate there.
Like, guys, take me with you. I'm sure that battle isn't over yet, though.
No, absolutely not. And I think that that's definitely something we're going to have to check into here on the final lap. But looking ahead, we do still have a very close battle between Pete Mabrotten and Edward Viorino for the lead. And then a very good battle between Mike Bowers and Chris Herrera for that final podium position.
I was going to say, Bowers made it back past Herrera. I don't know. See if we can't look in the... Oops. They've been trading it back and forth here.
And it looks like Torres is back out on track, so he must... It had to have been a fuel issue there to tow in the middle of a lap like that after, no real incident.
Look back from Justin K's car in the 7th position there. He's got some company all of a sudden.
Yeah, it looks like the group drafting has got those guys up to Justin K, who, has 8-second gap in front of him, so he doesn't really have any draft to go off of. And it looks like we might be going around one more time here. Doesn't look like the white flag is out quite yet.
Oh, it's got to be. Well, let's check in with the leaders here. It looks like James Hauser may have crashed. Yeah, did they cross beforehand?
On my side, I'm not seeing a white flag. They might have crossed with, just a few seconds left.
We'll check in real quickly here and see what happened to James Hauser. Like he may have little solo venture there into the to the pits. Had to go back into the pits.
So fuel might have been an issue here for two of our drivers today. Because James Hauser goes back into the pits.
Something happened to Herrera as well. What? He's dropping like a fly.
Maybe they didn't. They weren't expecting to do this extra lap when they did their fuel calculations, and it might be biting at quite a few of those drivers pretty hard right now.
Look back here and see what happened to Herrera if we can. Ah, yeah. Looks like he's just down on power. Probably a fuel thing.
Since, realistically in the Skip Barber car here on iRacing, fuel's really the only way to for your car to mechanically fail. It'd be extraordinarily hard to blow one of these cars up.
But you threatened me with a good time. Alright, so they're running here. This is going to be the checkered flag. That's what I'm showing. Edwin's able to pull it out.
Drag race, but Edwin, is going to take that checkered flag. Congratulations to him on the win, and a great race and a great battle between him and Broughton, as Bowers will take third. And we should check in here with the battle between Kay and Nikolai Wood as they're going to come through here. And there's a big incident in the bus stop chicane. Nikolai Wood loses his front nose cone, but it looks like he won't lose any position to it.
Oh my, we got to remember to go back and look at that one. That was...
Yeah, absolutely.
This Moffitt comes across the line in 12th. Oops. Oh.
We're just having a nice little conversation.
There you go. Adam Wright in the 13th. Jeff Zimmerman comes across in 14th, and we'll look back here at James Hauser. Up and down day for James. Up and down day.
You don't see a lot of those out of him, do you?
Sure. You won't be super pleased as Torres looks like he's about over it too. He comes across the line. John Trediak, the 17th. Robert Longatano will be in 18th. He's up 5 spots. Rich Butler coming across the last few turns here. Up 5 spots as well. Finished 19th. And Don Parks limping it across the line. Or not. He out as well?
You know, it looks like he might just be taking his time. You know, you can't rush these things. But when you're on a racetrack, you really just got to make sure. Yep, see there he goes across the line. He just wanted to make sure that there were no incidents. He could be as safe as possible.
And Chris Herrera looks like he was trying to get it in there. He may be out of luck, man. Unfortunately, the car does not run on hopes and dreams.
And Jake Ashea for 2 weeks in a row gains a position on the final back straight because someone has ran out of fuel. So congrats to Jake on taking advantage of those situations and being able to gain those spots, as it looks like he will be our last finisher here as he comes across the line.
Excellent. Well, it was a great race by all. And actually, Ian Harrington's saying that he heard you got disqualified. Is that accurate? You lose Ian?
I think we might have lost him.
Oh man! All right. Well, and excellent hello to Edwin and Christian. Edwin, that was a fantastic finish there. That was really exciting to watch. Yeah, if you want to, I don't know if you're in the Discord, we'd love to have you on there for an interview. But let's for the time being here until we get that figure out. See if we can't bring in Pete. Hey Pete, it's Chris. How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad, Chris. How are you doing?
You know, there was a lot happening in that race, and I'm very curious to see. It was very exciting watching you and Edwin kind of battle it out there at the end. We're trading barbs left and right. Ultimately, what was it at the end there that let him go by?
Frankly, I just got outraced in the final chicane. So I was looking to try and do a little bit of a dummy move. He didn't fall for it, and he had the car control to not have a problem there. And that's it. He just outdrove me.
Well, it was fun to watch at any rate. How'd you feel about it overall? It was an entertaining race to watch with the draft. I know there was talks in the Discord and just in generally speaking about the off tracks and stuff like that. But are you happy to put it behind you? Excited for next week, or where does Spa rank for you?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I am not unhappy to see Spa go. This race was this was the only session I'd say that I really truly enjoyed. This was a good time, but the rest of the week was rough. It's just not a good pairing for Skippy. However, next week, Brands I think is one of my favorite combinations. I'm not necessarily the fastest there, but you're always on edge. You're always balancing. You're always balancing the car right on the limit through the entire course. It's a good time.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different feel from what Spa is going to be. It does have the history. It's one of Riley's favorite courses, I know, but I do understand the sentiment. So it was a great race for somebody who's happy to see it go. Fantastic seeing you on the podium there. Riley, you got anything for Pete?
You know, I do understand where you're coming from with Spa not liking. But just congrats on the win. I know that maybe Spa can be a little bit boring in a car that, Radion and Eau Rouge aren't so much of a problem. You can just take it flat out, and it kind of just feels like any other corner. But what were your what were the things that you wanted to do in the race? Or what were the things in your head you were planning on for the race, and what are some things that maybe changed that you kind of had to change that strategy?
Well, obviously there is a big strategy change when I think it was James got a little bit loose and broke up the pack. So he had just me and Edwin pull away. So at that point, it was just trying to keep pace, trying to get a gap to the back behind. I was hoping that I'd be able to be a little bit quicker through the technical section so I could save a little bit more fuel, lift a little bit earlier when we get to those braking sections at the end of the long draft. But I think we ended up almost exactly identical on pits. It was pretty close. He might even got just a little bit ahead of me. So after that, it was just sprint to the finish. I think he had actually short fueled because he had refused to pass a couple times. I thought about hanging him out to dry. I thought about it. I'm not going to lie. But I just decided I didn't want to try to win a race like that if he was going to run out of fuel. And, we'll put on a little bit of a show last lap at least.
Well, that's great to hear. I think that's the extent of my questions. So, congrats on the second place, Pete, and we're excited to see you out next week at Brands Hatch.
All right, thanks, guys. See you next week.
Yeah, Pete. All right, and it looks like we've also got Chris Herrera in here. Chris, you got a copy?
Yep, I'm here.
Excellent. Hey, man, what happened at the end there?
Well, I think I pulled a Chris and didn't get enough gas.
Oh, we figured that might have been what happened, but yeah, talk to us about the race, man. It looks like it was a little bit of up and down, but some really good racing. We were able to catch back up a few times.
Yeah, so the beginning was pretty exciting. It looked like we had a good pack, and then, as Pete was saying, it looks like James got a little bit wide. I haven't seen the replay yet. Broke us up, and then I thought we may have had a chance to catch up with Pete, and I think Edwin was who he was racing with.
Yep.
But we didn't coordinate very well, or maybe I'm just not good enough to do that sort of coordination, and then they just slowly crept further and further away. And then eventually I realized I wasn't going to be able to finish the race, so I just let everybody by and tried to finish with my clutch in, but I still wasn't able to make it.
Yeah, we were hoping there was maybe a Flintstones mode on that car there toward the end, but unfortunately not the case. But it was great, entertaining racing, from our perspective. So well done on that.
Yeah, thank you. Up until that point, it was pretty fun.
That's right. And by the way, I think we're done picking you because we came to the conclusion. Well, no. We came to the conclusion that we must be bad luck because all of our picks either had some incidents or got spun off the track or what have you. So it seems like a kiss of death. So we apologize for that personally. And
Well,
maybe next week.
I think at the end of the broken hearts, maybe.
That's right. Oh man, well that was great fun. Are you looking forward to next week?
Yeah, actually, Brands Hatch is one of the first tracks that I feel like I got really proficient in when I got into the Skippy, so I'm looking forward.
Yeah, it's a little different feel than Spa, but it seems like there's a lot of folks who really enjoy it, which to me means there's going to be a lot of close racings. We're excited for that.
Absolutely, and it's one of the, I think, 3 tracks this season that I've raced before, so I have.
Oh, there you go.
I'm looking forward to getting back in.
That much speed, and you haven't raced any of these. That's fantastic. Hey man, you got any parting shots or shout outs?
No, I think Pete and Edwin did a fantastic job. So towards the end, I was racing with Mike Bowers, and I hope I didn't mess him up when I ran out of gas, but good race with everyone that I was near me.
And we did just get a message in here that Christian says sorry. He had the face palm emoji.
I already told him it's okay. It was a close race, and I guess he just missed his shift or something. But it was.
Yeah, happens. Cool. All right, man. Well, stay safe and have a good night, and we look forward to seeing you whipping around Brands Hatch next week.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. And it looks like we may have another interview in here with Mike Bowers. Get a good copy on us? Oh. All right. Well, we'll try to keep get a hold of him. In the meantime, though, Megan, I'd like to. What do you think? Final thoughts on that race?
That was so much fun. I had a lot of fun watching this. Maybe Spa will also be my favorite track along with Riley.
Originally, when I saw the track and you printed out the course for me, I thought it was going to be a fun race. Kind of combines a bunch of the different things we've seen in the last couple of tracks, but I just had a lot of fun. I think unfortunately for some of the guys, it didn't pan out the way they wanted to, but for us watching it, that actually makes it a lot more fun to watch. So, unfortunately, so I mean, you win some, you lose some. We got to see some really tight, good racing by a bunch of different racers, and I kind of love that. You saw it, both in the front of the pack, in the middle of the pack, at the back of the pack, and no matter where we were looking, there were tight races everywhere to be had. So that to me is a good sign of not only a good race in general, but a good group of racers who really just enjoy racing each other.
Yep. Agreed with that.
So I was I've just come back, guys.
I'd like to get your thoughts on the race, Ian.
Well, where do I start? No, that was a great fun. It's an awesome track. It's a fast track. It's a deceptive track, I would like to say.
Okay.
I was doing better than I thought I was gonna until I wasn't. I don't know. Getting these fancy colored cars so that Megan can enjoy looking at them doesn't seem to be working for me too well. But
Don't blame
no,
me.
Of course, I got to blame someone. Come on. But no, it was good fun, and I mean, unfortunately, I lost it there in Pouchon, where I came around and slid into the back of Oliver. And that pretty much ended both of our races. I'm trying to find him online to apologize to him now. And then I'm going to shamefully go to the steward's booth and beg their forgiveness. But it is what it is. We live to fight another day. It was probably some of the closest racing that I've had personally in a while, which was immensely fun and also immensely terrifying. But you learn, right? Each of this is a learning experience. My history with car racing has been long and varied in real life, but not. I wasn't really a racer. I was a rallier. I'm mostly a navigator. But this is my first sort of experience racing, and I'm really, really enjoying it and learning a huge amount. So, great stuff.
Yeah, I think people take for granted too, especially if you got the viewers out there who maybe are just watching it for friends, family, or kind of new to iRacing or whatever. But some of these guys just make it look super easy, and I promise you it's not. And so it's get a definite appreciation for it.
Yeah.
Trying to do it yourself, myself, I know. I get to sit up here and talk, and it'd be a different story if I had to go down there and race. So we appreciate you giving us the insight though, and talking us to the race. I'm sure it's not easy. So yeah.
It's all good fun, and I'll tell you, you see the car from the outside, and it looks like it's just kind of sitting there and going around the track on rails. From the inside, it is not like that at all. You're yeah, no.
Yeah, and we were talking about that, the lower downforce car. Um, you know, a little more wheeling to it. You know what I mean? It's I know it kind of looks like you said. I don't know if there's a better way to put it. Like they're on rails, and it's just kind of slot cars. But you are working that wheel, that balance of the car. Make sure you're not getting too loose, oversteer, understeer. So yeah, just the fact you can get it around the track, I think, is pretty impressive.
I think what we need to do, Chris, is we need to get Megan in one of these things because we don't have very many. We don't have a lot of representation from the female side of them.
Challenge accepted.
There you go.
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, we've actually been talking about that, just kind of as a fun thing for, okay, somebody who doesn't have the experience, this is what it's like to try to just jump in here and do that. But I think she might catch the bug. I'm not sure, but I think.
Well, let me give a quick shout out to someone who I've been following on YouTube, and that's Snail Racing, a lady by the name of Annie Rabbits. I would go check out her YouTube channel, especially Megan, and you will see her progression from rookie through to, she's turning into a very decent racer.
And that was Snail Racing?
Snail Racing. And her name is Ann Rabbits or Annie Rabbits.
Well, we will be sure to check that out and promote that here best we can. That's great to see. All right, let's got a couple. We're having a little bit of issues with the audio here, but we'll pull in Carrington here, who had some great battles. Carrington had some great battles in the middle of the pack there with the 4 of them. So we'd just like to get his views on that. Carrington, you got a good copy?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Absolutely, yeah. How'd that race go for you, man? That was some good racing. That was fun to watch. I don't know how it was, if you're pitting out right now or what, but.
No, it was good. I thought I swore that final chicane at the very end, all 4 of us were going to come together with the back marker, but somehow we all pulled it together and finished. It got really sketchy there for a second, but yeah, everything ended well.
Well, it was a great finish for you. I mean, if you purposely set a time or not, but you climbed 19 positions by my count. Ended up in P6. That was pretty good. Working your way through the field. How was that experience?
Well, it was really tough. I had never done any laps here, so my best time in qualifying was a 4:52, and I just couldn't go any faster. But something just clicked when I got in the race, and it just.
Okay, well, I mean that's probably one of the more impressive stories there. I like going into races cold myself, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good. You don't get any bad habits that way. Well, do you have any final thoughts about the race or shout outs?
I will say, starting at the back and pushing through, everyone raced really well. A lot of respect was given. Like, no one pinched anyone in the first few corners, which is nice to see. And yeah, I mean, it's just getting better every week.
Yeah, there's going to be incidents here and there, but it was for the most part, I think once everything got settled down, the tires got warm. It was really fun to watch throughout the field. There's several packs throughout the field, so I'm really looking forward to Brands Hatch next week and watching that race, how that all plays out. So, well, thanks for joining us, Carrington. You guys I'm sorry, I should have asked Riley or Megan if you guys had anything for him.
No, actually, I don't. I just want to congratulate Carrington on the good race, and you did push through the field, and it's always impressive because I think you do that pretty often, where you start the back and make your way through. It's impressive to see how you handle traffic. Not a lot of guys can do it the way you do.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I just want to say y'all are putting on a great product, and keep it up. This also gets better every week.
Well, we are trying, even though it doesn't look like it. I promise you, we are trying. So we will talk to you later. And if you want to follow Carrington Wilmer on Twitch, you race a lot of different stuff, man. It's always fun to watch you, and always a good, entertaining time. And you get to bet with Wiener Dogs on how he's going to perform. So can't go wrong there. Thanks to you, Carrington, and have a great night.
Thank you. You as well.
I will try Mike Bowers again one more time, maybe. You got a good copy on this, Mike? Oh, so close.
I was gonna say I see a circle lighting up, but I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah. Oh. Keep trying. We'll keep trying. See what we can do. There. And I apologize. Team Players Blue. I'm not sure.
Yes, that's me.
And what is your real name?
Sorry, my real name is Justin K. I was in that pack that was real
Justin.
close together. I had a tight race.
Outstanding. All right. Yeah, no, I apologize. I saw you there, and I was like, I'm sure he was in the race. I just don't know who this is. So Justin K, yeah, fantastic racing that we saw. We were talking to Carrington there as well, but ninth place, good top 10 for you, jump 5 spots overall. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
It was great racing. That track is a lot of fun to race on as well. Spa is incredible. So yeah, I just joined a few races ago, and the last couple haven't gone so well, but this one's a lot better. I know this track real well, and I raced a little bit earlier in the week. But this one, there was a pack of us basically the entire race, and I was for the first stint. We were back and forth, and I tried to pit as early as possible so I can come out and maybe make up some ground driving by myself because I thought we were slowing us down just a tad. Well, I ended up probably 0.1 of a gallon short at the end, and I lost it at the end. I started bogging on the straightaway, the last straightaway going into the final chicane. And I warned the guys behind me, but I was so bummed when I started bogging. But it was great racing. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the mandatory pit stops. I want to say that they're controversial is not the right word, but they definitely add something to the race here that you're not going to get somewhere in the public races. So for better or for worse, but it was fun watching you run. And I was going to say, this may be embarrassing, but you're relatively new to the league, correct?
Yes, I am relatively new. I don't know why I've always wanted to join a Skippy league, and I just never really dug really deep into finding one. And I just looked really hard, on the forums, and I saw suggestions somewhere that they should have the Sunday night Skippies. I'm like, well, that sounds good, and I really enjoyed it so far. It's a really good race. There's something for everybody. There's some guys that are really fast, and then there's guys that are about my pace, which is perfect. And everybody was very respectful too. In the pack we were racing, we raced really clean. I don't think I had contact with anybody, which is pretty incredible with Skippies. It was a 45-minute race, and you don't have any contact with anybody, and we're dicing back and forth. So it was really, really good racing. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it's good to hear, man. It's always good feedback. I know the admins do a real good job of trying to be open to all, but you do have to have some rules in there. It's a very delicate balance. So it's good that you're having a great experience, and definitely happy to have you because shoot, you may end up being my my dark horse next week because that was some great racing there. Just kind of bit by the fuel bug at the end. So, you have any last parting shots or shout outs?
No, just shout out to everybody in that mid pack race. That was some good racing. We were pretty clean, and we tried to catch the other packs a couple times. I actually broke away after the pit stop too. I was a couple seconds ahead, but I looked at my fuel meter. I was like, no, it was 0.1 short, and I had to start lifting. And I tried to lift, and I saw them fighting back there. I was like, God, whatever. So I just let them get in front and started saving. And then I tried to get away again, but it didn't. But I think you said next week is Brands Hatch, which is a great track. Is it the Indy version or is it the longer version?
That is a great question, actually. I don't know if Riley, do you know that?
Not off the top of my head, but I can't answer that question. It'll just take me 1 second.
Well, either way, I think it's going to be that's a great spot for this car. And these cars are a lot of fun, and that's going to be a little bit more technical than this one. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be great.
Fantastic, man. Well, thanks again for joining us here and taking the time. And just want to make sure you stay safe out there. Have a great rest of your night, and we look forward to a week from now where we get to see you tear it up on Brands Hatch.
Yeah, absolutely. And Justin, before you head out, it is the Grand Prix circuit.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's great what you guys are doing. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
perfect, man. Have a great night. All right, and we've got Adam right here. Let's see, Adam. have a good copy on us?
10-4, loud and clear.
Excellent, man. Well, so how was your evening there? Looks like you climbed 5 spots, ended up 13th overall.
It was pretty lonely for most of it. I had a first row view for Ian and Oscar's little battle and then tumble, and then after that it was pretty much just me on my own, churning out laps and trying to stay on the.
Yeah, how much work would you say that racers have to put in preparation for Sunday night?
I think a good amount. Seeing how fast everyone was going, I just started iRacing like 2 weeks ago, and I just started Skippy this week at Spa. So my only experience with the Skippies is at Spa. I haven't done them on any other track yet.
There you go.
So
that's really impressive. Then, do you have any racing background other than that, or are you just naturally tearing it up at Spa?
I mean, I've played a bunch of other sims, so I've done a lot of laps at Spa, just not in this car. So I got a good feel for the track, just not the car.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like everybody's looking forward to Brands Hatch next week. I was going to ask what your thoughts were, but sounds like it'll be new for you as well.
I think I might have done some laps on it in Gran Turismo. I think it's on there, but I'm sure it'll be completely different in iRacing, completely different in the Skippy.
Well, man, hey, thanks for joining us tonight. It was great to see. It's a great result either way, and all the more impressive knowing that is your iRacing background, man. That's pretty great to hear. So we look forward to see what you can do in the league moving forward, and if you can give these guys a run for their money. I'm personally, I love Edwin and Pete and Christian and all those really fat James, but let's get some other guys up there in that top pack.
I'll do my best.
All right. Thanks, man. Do you got any last shout outs or
nope, just thanks to everyone who puts in the hard work to make this league happen. I'm looking forward to it, having a group of people to race with week in, week out.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here, man, and have a good rest of your night.
All right. Thanks. Adios.
All right. Well, that was fun. Looks like Ian's out. So I'll pass it over to Riley. Closing thoughts, man, as we wind down the evening.
I said it before the race. I'll say it again now. Spa always produces good racing, and it was such a fun race to watch. Still in love with that track. Always will be. And I think we saw some really good on-track battles. We had the drama. We had the really tight battles. We had some wheel-to-wheel racing. Everything you need for a good race. Everything that makes it interesting for us here in the broadcast booth. So excited for Brands Hatch next week. We've got so many talented drivers. We've got so many guys gridding up now. And I'll just keep it brief here. And thank you for everyone coming out tonight and watching us. And thank you for all the drivers for finding the time to race with us on Sunday nights. And I just hope everyone has a good night and is ready for next week at Brands Hatch.
Awesome. Really well put. Megan?
Just a good night to everybody. Thanks everybody for participating. I think this was the longest stream of interviews we've had post race, which just goes to show you not only how, I guess I just have to say that this league is impressing me day in and day out, how devoted everyone is to not only the race itself, but also just getting each other better and kind of just having those conversations and developing this broadcast into something that's beneficial for everybody. I'm impressed day in and day out about this league and couldn't be prouder to kind of be a little bit of a part of it. And so I just want to thank everybody for allowing me that little piece. And also to the friends and family that listen. Again, I hope that you join us next week and the weeks after. I think this is a great way for everybody to stay in touch and be able to see your friends and family get to do something that they love. So I appreciate it, and y'all have a good night. Stay safe out there.
And I'll just say that I'm going to echo some sentiments here. if there's anybody still watching. But just a huge thank you to the Sunday Night Skippy Racing League. The drivers, the admins that put it on, the drivers that participate, great group of folks, and it's been kind of almost life-changing in a way having found them. So big thanks to them. The viewers who are actually watching this, which I imagine at this point is mostly the drivers, but big thanks to the folks who tune in, because we do this broadcast not for money or clicks or subscriptions. We for the league because it's fun and like to do it. So of course welcome any feedback that you have, but it's our pleasure to try to bring you a little bit of joy on a Sunday night. Maybe watch some friends and family. That's what you're doing here, or if you just like some good Skippy racing, obviously as well. But big thanks to everybody. I think I already said that. So anyway, have a good night and take care. So on behalf of Megan, Riley, and myself, we will see you next week at Brands Hatch.